welcome. If you're watching the recording, you can fast forward. If you're watching this live, we'll kick this off here in a few minutes. Feel free to send this to a friend. We're going to be answering a very important question. Let me know where you are tuning in from, if you're watching this live, and if you're watching the replay. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Feel free to send this out. We'll start here in a few minutes. If you can hit the like button, more people will see that we are live. We are going to answer this question. Is will the market crash before this election happening next week? We're going to answer that question. My name is Defi Mike, and I'm excited that you are here. We will start here in about 3. Hit the like button. Oh, wrong one. We'll kick this off here in about 3 minutes. Let's get it. If you're watching the replay, you can fast forward. If you're watching live, it's going to be a good one. I will send this YouTube link out and share this with a friend. Let me know in the chat also where you are tuning in from. Right now, we are just getting this ready, but I'm excited that you are here. Let me know in the comments, I think it's to your left or down below, where you're tuning in from. And, what do you think? Do you think this market is going to correct or crash before this election? I'm going to give you guys my opinion on this in this video, and then I'll send you actually to do some homework. I'm actually going to give you some homework here at the end. Okay, so let's kick this thing off here in about 30 seconds. We got Lars in the building, Tanea from New Jersey, good to see ya. Nashville in the building, excited that you are here. Hit that like button so more people on YouTube see we are live. Let's get this thing started. Excited that you're here, welcome. My name is Defi Mike, or my real name is Mike Sotero, aka Defi Mike. Shout out to those Dodgers World Series champions last night. And if you don't know what baseball is, then that didn't make sense. Slovenia in the building. Okay, real quick, I want to answer this question. I've had a few people message me in the past couple of days saying, do you think the market can correct itself before this election? And when we simply look at Bitcoin, like right now, I did a video on this yesterday. You guys can go look at the last live I did yesterday. And I showed you guys the Google trends. The Google trend is just starting to slowly curve to the upside where there's interest again in Bitcoin. Now, do you see here how like every time price gets to like this all-time high level, it kind of just sells off? And what this is doing long-term is it's building a very strong level of liquidity. Okay. Or you can just call it money, or you can just call it stop losses, or people's risk. So I don't care what you call it, to be honest. Now, eventually, this level will get taken out. Well, Mike, how are you so sure? Well, let's just go back a little bit over here. Okay, and like we could even use this as an example, right? This is when Bitcoin was around that 30,000 level. We hit it, then we had this huge sell-off. And then next time we came back, imagine, you trying to sell Bitcoin right here. Got Miami in the building. Imagine you trying to sell right here. What would have happened? Boom, it just runs through. And same thing. It takes that money, that liquidity, you get the point. How are you so sure? Well, I mean, guys, it happens not just left to right, but it also happens kind of like this trend right here. Okay, like I remember this point, this was a couple years ago. Bitcoin creates like this, what do they call this? Like what kind of pattern is this? This is a, I don't trade this. This is like a bear flag. I don't really trade these patterns, but I do look at it. Yeah, like a bear flag, where price is just kind of going up, creating a high, low, high, low. In reality, it's just creating liquidity. And then what did it do? Boom, it makes this huge move to the downside. Okay. Now, also liquidity, something that we look for, we teach. Also, it's not only up and down with the highs and lows and not only at resistance, it's also like a level of support. Do you see how aggressive the market moved right here? Right? Everything was okay. Market kept selling, market kept getting bought, right? Every time it hit this level, bought, bought, bought. What is that? Money, liquidity. You guys get what I'm saying here? Why is there an ant on my keyboard? That's not good. Glad you guys are here. Continue to hit that like button if you're watching this for the first time. And make sure you hit subscribe. If you're subscribing for the first time, let me know in the chat if you just subscribed. And I might even give away something here today. Okay. So same kind of concept, right? Markets just bounce. Oh, you could even extend that. Look at this. Every time it bounced, and then boom, aggressive move. Well, what if I did this? Okay, you guys see how this is like at the bottom? This is the support. What if we flip that? Now, guess what? You see how it's like now resistance? Same thing. It's just psychological. People just sometimes need to see it this way. See how it's now resistance? Well, you tell me, doesn't this look very similar to where price is currently at? Let me flip the chart back up, upside down. Okay, let's go back to where the market's at. Doesn't that look just like this? So can the market correct itself before the election, right? That's what people want to know. So number one, the answer is yes. Okay, now where could Bitcoin, let's just look at Bitcoin here, potentially play off of? Now, a lot of my students, and I covered all of this, with all of them, and I even gave some free gems on my YouTube here, is August 5th was such like an important day for Bitcoin and a day for the markets. Why? It's because the biggest amount of volume in Bitcoin had come in a very long time. Now you have these banks and institutions through the spot Bitcoin ETF. They now have about 1 million Bitcoin. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. There's millions of Bitcoin that are lost if you don't know that. If you don't know that there's millions of Bitcoin that will never move. You think about if people pass away and they had Bitcoin. People don't think about this, but this is the truth. The truth and reality is that people will pass away and they'll have no plan for their crypto that they bought. As sad as that sounds, you have people that lose their seed phrase and then they lose their ledger and it's just a big mess. You're dealing with a limited supply. So when I look at this type of chart and I understand key events, okay, what are some key events that could cause Bitcoin to maybe even come down, even into this level right here? Like this is definitely a key level right here, coming into that 65 to 68,000 level before maybe wanting to go higher. See, it's not just going to be straight up. Like put a 1 in the chat if you understand that. The market is not just going to go do what you want it to do. See, remember this. Bull markets are not easy. Bull markets are going to challenge you mentally because right now, like you see how Bitcoin, it almost created a new all-time high. Now it's coming back down. Inside, if you're a new trader or a new investor and you're looking at the markets, you're saying, wow, maybe I should get out in case it goes lower. And then what does the market do? The market gives you that setup It sets you up, right? You ever been set up before? Hopefully not. But when somebody gets set up in a movie, usually like the outcome is really bad. That's what happens in crypto. People get set up. And yes, shout out to those Dodgers, World Series champions. I hate the Yankees. All right, I just had to get that out the way. If you're a Yankees fan, don't unsubscribe here. So market's pulling back right now. What are some of those key events though that are going to lead to an all-time high? Okay, well, let's take a look real quick. GDP, okay, this stands for growth domestic product. This report, this data, okay, this is data that moves the market. And when you understand the charts show kind of what's going to happen more or less before the data gets released. And then the market, the data, the news moves it in the right direction. So for example, here, GDP is annualized change in inflation. Super simple. Why do traders care? It's the broadest measure of how the economy is doing. So what's the health of the US economy? Mike, I don't live in the US. Why does this matter to me? Well, it matters because it affects the dollar. And if it affects the dollar, which is, if you guys have been following my channel, we've been looking actually for a bearish dollar in this zone. And the dollar affects what? Well, number one, it affects Forex. It affects currencies. It affects the exchange rate. Okay, if you're in Canada and you're coming to the US, it affects you. If you are in Mexico, or if you're in Japan, or if you're in any country and you come to the US, it affects you. And if you're in the US and you use US dollars, you go to another country, it affects you. Now, one thing that I'm seeing here on like USD CAD, for example, now I don't know when this thing will reverse, but I see a lot of levels here, a lot of money here that the dollar may want to return to. And I could see the dollar coming actually back somehow down here to 1.22. Now, right now, is this chart going up or down? Is this chart bullish or bearish? This chart is bullish. Yeah. Got sports. What's good? This chart is bullish. And you can see here, this market actually against the Canadian dollar, this looks like it wants to go probably somewhere up here. But if this were to reverse, I could see, and this is just an example on the US dollar to the Canadian dollar, coming back somewhere in here, making a way up here, then dropping. So the dollar affects everybody. Does everybody understand that? Okay. I showed this chart yesterday. I'll show it again. US dollar spending power. I want to show you something real quick. You see, like the evil people that really run the world, like they're not even like trying to hide it anymore. They literally show you that the purchasing power of the dollar is pretty much nothing. See, it's not that the DXY or the dollar will crash. I don't ever think that the dollar is going to crash. But I think the buying power that you had 5 years ago is different than today. The buying power you had 30 years ago or 40 years ago is different than what you had today, right? A can of Coke would be like $3, $4 now. Well, that same can of Coke in the 60s or 70s was like 10 cents or 20 cents. And then in the 40s and 50s, it was 5 cents. So the buying power is what has decreased. Now, when you have the buying power decreasing and the chart of the dollar, the DXY dropping, that money is going to move. Well, Mike, what does this have to do with the election? Is you have to understand that every 4 years, there is a US election. And I'm not going to show it on this. I'm going to actually put out a video that breaks this down. But every 4 years, there's an election. And historically, okay, this is not about politics. Historically, when there is a Republican president, you could do the math. I might even have a video on my channel about this. I got to look. The dollar drops. Why? Because Republicans in America lean towards assets. They want the stock market to do well. They want the real estate market to do well. And that's just kind of how it is. When there's a Democrat president, and it doesn't matter, historically, the dollar goes up. Real simple. You can go back in time and check And cross-check me if you want, fact check me. But look, Biden came into office, he got sworn in January of 2021, right? He gets sworn in, like he's now officially the president. What does the dollar do? Boom. What does crypto do? Down, down. Okay, well, remember, Trump wins the election in 2016. He gets sworn into office January of 2017. Okay. Election is every 4 years. What happens when Trump comes into office? Dollar, actually melts, dollar retraces, dollar melts back down. And guess what? That's when the bull market started. Now, this is an interesting 4 year period of time, 4 to 8 years, because we had COVID. And if you don't know this, the dollar, let me just show you. Put a two in the chat if you're like a factual person. Like you care about facts. Like you don't care, you don't even care what I say, and that's fine. And I encourage you to be that type of person that like wants to see the data, but then you also have to take logic and add emotion and vice versa. You got to be able to bring it together. Okay. So let me show you some data. Let's look at this. Global M2 liquidity. Watch this. And here's why I believe you and me, we are in the greatest time in human history. Because watch this. In 2016, right? Forget about the presidents for a second. In 2016, in the entire world, the global liquidity index, what does that mean? Basically, the amount of money that's in the world. So, like printed money, okay, like physical money, physical dollars, euros, yen, all that stuff. It was about $57 trillion. Okay, do you guys see that at the bottom? Let me know in the chat. 57 trillion. And today, the US obviously had a huge role in this. But today, there's $94 trillion. China is looking to do a stimulus package, okay, in the next couple of weeks, where they are going to print almost $2 trillion, essentially out of thin air. Who does that affect? Think about this. What does that do to their currency? But then now there's more money in the world. Remember, money doesn't ever stay still. Money is energy. Money flows to people that are in alignment with it. Money moves to businesses that solve problems. Why does most people probably have an iPhone? Because you think this is going to solve the problem that you have. What do you mean? Well, if you want to call a friend, how do you do it? You got to get a phone. What's the best phone? I would say an iPhone. The best businesses solve the biggest problems. Well, I want to be connected with thousands of my friends that I don't see. Okay, now I got to use a thing called Facebook or Instagram. Okay, well, how do I do that? I got to get a phone. Do you see how like that problem? Now, problems also can be created out of nothing. And in the past 10 years, we have created a problem. What is the problem? A lot of money being printed. Well, guess what? There's a cause and effect. So right now, that is obviously a major problem, but there's also an effect to that. And the effect is that assets can run. So yes, the dollar does look like it wants to drop. And you're saying, well, all my money is in my bank account saved up. And respectfully, I will tell you this, like you deserve, like it's not a smart thing to do. I'm not your financial advisor. Speak to one, okay? Most of the financial advisors I've met are freaking broke. I have a financial advisor in my inbox right now, and he's asking me my thoughts about meme coins because he wants to bring that to some of his clients. He's not doing too well if that's the conversation, you know? You guys get what I'm saying? We're 5 days away from an election. What can happen? GDP, okay, so let's go back to this. Let's go back to like the data. GDP was negative. In 2022, a lot of people don't even they don't even know. Like they're not even paying attention. And like, I get it. We all got stuff going on. Life happens. But did you know that I can't remember the exact date, but they changed the definition of what a recession was, or what a recession is. Did you know that? And did you know when they changed the definition, and then you have Jim Cramer on TV telling you Bitcoin's going to go to zero? All of that happened here to trick you, to manipulate you, to make you think that we were going to go lower, that the market was going to crash, that things weren't going to go good. If you're getting some value from this, I need you to hit that like button real quick for me. Hit that like button. Let me show you something. I was showing this to my students earlier, but I'm going to share with you here real quick because you guys showed up here to this YouTube. Hey, this is a chart of Solana. Okay. Do you guys see like this type of pattern? Like actually, I want you to look at the pattern in the box. Okay. Like, do y'all see that? Just look at this. Okay. Just look at this. Hey, watch this. You guys see this pattern right here? Watch this. I'm going to add this thing called volume. Does everybody see how the market makes an aggressive move? Money comes in, market pulls back, market goes higher. Does everybody see this? It's like on the left. Now, I'm going to prove a point to you that every single market is manipulated. And then smart money, institutional money, whales, they know this. And they're the ones moving it. Watch this. This is on the left. Now, in the US, there is a company that is a publicly traded company called Carvana. Okay. Solana is on the left. This stock of this company was at $400 and it dropped 98%. Okay? 400 to 7. Chart on the left, Solana went from 260 to 7. Now forget about like the dollars, like the dollar amounts don't matter. The dollar amounts don't matter. Solana drops how much percent, Mike? 97%. 97% drop. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's going to go to zero. Now this does not work with just everything. Okay, that's where there's confirmations, and all my students know this. Okay, 98% drop. Could we all agree that if you bought here or if you bought here, you're probably really mad if you're holding the entire time? And that's what they want. They want the emotional Leah or Lars or Steven or Sue or Rob. They want the emotional you to get out. And they also want you not to get rich and not to make money and not to have an abundance of wealth. Okay. So 97% drop left, 98% drop right. Now I want you to look at the Carvana chart on the, it's got to be the monthly. Okay. Actually, let's go to 6. I need, see, like sometimes there's a lot of data here. Actually, we can actually make this a little bit easier. Okay, so it's not identical. But on the left-hand side, does everybody see? What's up, Macy? Does everybody see how there's a big spike of volume at the bottom of the market? Okay. I'm not really focused on like the chart pattern, like per se, but it's very close. But does everybody see? Let me know in the chat if you see it. Big spike here, big spike here. Big spike, market up. Big spike, market up. And then you have a pullback. Then you have a pullback. Does everybody see that? Oh, here, this is actually a little bit better right here. Yeah, leave it right there. And then let's go here to the 2-week. Okay. Actually to the monthly. Okay, there you go. That's a little bit easier. Let me know in the chat if you see it. Big spike down, or big spike in volume, up, back. Big spike in volume, up, back. 97% drop from the bottom. It's up 1,900%. Over here to the right, big spike from the bottom. It's up 3,600%. Forget about what the Carvana company is. Forget about what Solana is. This is how they manipulate price. Do you have any bonus sessions this week on Go Live? Yes, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Let me know in the chat if you see it. Because after you see it, you'll never unsee it. And you will stop getting faked out by these markets. Okay? And here's how I know a fake out is coming, or whatever you want to call it. Okay? I had no intention actually even going over that in this session, but hopefully that helped you. Okay? So now we're looking at Bitcoin. Overall, let's actually just look at total crypto market cap. This chart represents all of the money in crypto. Okay? I really love this level for the market to bounce. We're kind of about to trade into it right here. I wouldn't be surprised if the total crypto market cap started to go higher from this type of level. I have another video on my channel. I encourage you to go watch it where I talk about the Bitcoin dominance and when I believe the biggest altcoin run will take place. So make sure you guys go to my channel. It's titled Bitcoin Dominance. This is really nice. Okay, I really like this level here. And what the market could be pricing in right now is not only do we have a US election next week, and I'll tell you this, I don't even think we are going to know who the president is for a couple of days. That's just my prediction. Okay. We know what happened in the 2020 election, no matter who you voted for. I would bet that we don't know for a day, maybe 2 days, maybe even longer. Now, what happens? Okay, this is what this is my biggest point for today. Is what happens if the market is uncertain? If there's uncertainty in the market, what would the market most likely do? If you're uncertain about you going to a party, are you going to go to the party? Probably not. If you're uncertain about doing something that, you kind of know you shouldn't do, you're probably not going to do it, right? In the markets, if you're uncertain about, if the market is uncertain, the market just like, hey, I don't want to go higher anymore. And it just stops and people stop buying and then the market goes down. Okay, remember, this market there's people buying and selling, all day. More sellers, market down. More buyers, market up. Very simple, right? If the market has certainty that good things are going to happen, what is the market going to do? The market's going to go up. Think about that. So like on November 5th, if we don't know who the president is, going into that, I wouldn't be surprised if we had either a massive push into the 80s or a big sell-off on Bitcoin back into the 50s or 60s, mid 60s to low 60s. So just kind of remember that. Navigate the next couple of weeks very carefully. Like if you don't have a plan, I'm not giving you one here today. There's tons of videos on my channel to go through, but you got to know what you're looking to do here. Okay, my plan is simple. I buy dips. For my portfolio, I buy dips. Okay, I'll give you one free here today because you showed up. I'm accumulating this avalanche dip right here for the first time, actually. Okay, $25. I like what Avalanche is doing. This is going to be a very small percentage in my portfolio. I like how we have, a fib from low to high, from the bigger move. I like this level. Mike, what if it goes to $20? Then I'll buy more. Don't get so caught up in price. You know how you make the most amount of money is you get into something when it's going down. And after you have confirmations. You know how you make the most amount of money in the markets? You're buying into fear. Like if you guys haven't gone to this website, I have a free 3-day course. Highly recommend going through it. It's free, so there's no strings attached. I'm going to pin it in the comments. HappyBullRun.com. Do you know why I had my team put this title? Sell into euphoria while your friends and family buy into it, because that's the damn truth. Your friends and your family will start to want to buy, or they will actually buy when it's too late. And in this, I put together 3 days, okay? The 6 ways you make money in crypto, entries, exits, which is what I'm talking about now. and a 4-year plan. So if you want that plan, go to happybullrun.com and watch that. Okay. So we have election. 2 days after the election, you know what they're going to do in the US? Is they're going to cut rates again. And I think this is where we are going to see a massive move in one direction, right? Like, no pun intended. We're either going to have a massive move into the 80s, or if there's uncertainty in the election and we get this rate cut, everybody's expecting a really big bullish move. Maybe we get not a black swan. Maybe we get a big sell-off. And the people that still have capital, because people run out of capital, of course, because they don't have a plan and they don't have a business, they don't have cash flow. They're investing money that they need. Big mistake right there. You get this big sell-off, you can't buy it, the banks buy it, and then market goes parabolic. We go into euphoric. So in closing this, we're going to wrap this up here. You got to have a level head with where the market's at. You can't get too excited because uncertainty can show up next week, everybody, and they could try to really mess with all of us. Okay? You're seeing some stocks do very well. Like, if you're not subscribed to my channel, I literally made a video on my YouTube going over the exact plan of why I accumulated Peloton at some of these levels down here. And I gave out the idea. I educated on you what they were doing, how they refinanced their debt. Okay, I showed you how the volume was coming in. And Peloton today, their earnings came out, oh yeah, positive. Okay, positive. And Peloton literally is up, that 200%, ripping to the upside. Did you watch that video that I posted? Anybody catch this with me? Okay, that's a little bike company. I mean, the signs were everywhere. I can't tell you how many. Okay, guys, I have a Twitter account. If you don't know, it's DeFi Mike, and I put out pictures all over my Twitter. Okay, it's this one with the blue check. Please don't get scammed by fake accounts. But I put a picture of like the Peloton bikes. I'm not going to scroll all the way down. I was posting that for like a month. So I hope you caught it. I hope you caught it. Great tip. Yep. Awesome. Amazing. Good to see. If there's any questions, I'll answer some questions in the chat. I do got to get going. I have another call here in a few minutes. But I think we're in a great place. I really like to see, I would love to see unemployment. I know this sounds messed up, but I do think unemployment will go higher tomorrow. So unemployment, NFP tomorrow. This is one of those events. If unemployment is going up, and it can just go up slowly, the dollar will go bearish with a higher unemployment rate. Okay. Now, it's not as big of a problem as it used to be, but I think unemployment going up tomorrow, or maybe stays the same, can send the dollar a little bit down. And if we get a Trump victory, then the dollar could really make its way. I think the dollar has the ability to come all the way down here into the 96, maybe even a lot lower into the low 90s. If Kamala wins, I think the dollar makes this move and then it just continues higher. And hopefully crypto continues to go with it. Which way do you think it's going to go? The election? I don't know. The amount of things that are taking place right now to stop certain people is just crazy. So everybody knows that election year in the US is like a simulation. It's like a movie. Just crazy stuff happens. So I am expecting some crazy stuff to happen in the next couple of days. So if there's any questions, feel free to drop it down in the chat real quick. Other than that, we're going to wrap this up. Make sure you guys hit the like button and go watch that video on my page right now. Okay, message me when you're done. Let me actually just show it to you. I'm going to put the link in the chat for you guys to go watch this. This is a really important video. If you want to know how altcoins, like when altcoins are going to make the move, okay, go watch this video I have it as a video. This one right here. I'm going to put this in the chat. Go watch this. Take a look at it. What? No, put the wrong link. That's for this video right here. Go take a look at this. When Bitcoin dominance dies, I explain when altcoins will have the biggest run. All right, everybody. Hope you all have a great day. God bless. Go take a look at that video. And when you finish it, message me on Instagram. My Instagram is DeFi Mike Sotero on Instagram, or you can message me on Twitter at DeFi Mike with 2 eyes. All right, y'all. Have a great